Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at starting a brand new series, which is breaking down clutch plays. I'm not sure if that's going to be the title or not, but that's kind of the overall concept where we look at a specific clutch play from beginning to end and kind of assess and break down what is happening, why it worked, and how you can do that for yourself. If you think there's ways that we can improve it, comment down below. Otherwise, if you enjoy the video or learn something new, please do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Obviously, the background's a little bit different and the audio is not all there because I moved into a new place and haven't had a chance to set everything up the right way. So please excuse the audio if it's slightly off. So the first clip we're going to look at here is Clay Smeds. He submitted on a post I tweeted. So that's probably what I'll do is I'll tweet out, people will submit their clips, and then we can kind of pick a few and we'll break those down and kind of show exactly what's going on and what they did so well. Obviously with Twitter quality, it's going to always look like trash, but that is what it is. Maybe we'll kind of figure out how to get a little bit higher quality clips for these, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. So what we'll do is we have him coming through here. He has a Bertha. And ideally what I'm looking for is the full clip so we can see it unfold as it happens. So the first guy, he just got him, spot him. There's another one in here. He takes down. So he has two down. But what he doesn't realize at this moment, I've already kind of seen the clip, is that there's actually two different teams here. So he has the potential of getting third-partied, but doesn't realize it. You can hear the footsteps of the player coming in. Let's go ahead and see a little bit more of the clip. His teammates are obviously in the background, giving some comms. He's like, oh man, there's somebody there. Then you hear the footsteps on his backside. He gets in the window. There ends up being a proximite. Unfortunately, he still takes a little bit of damage, even though he got down there. You can hear the self-res. He's coming up, but somebody's pre-aiming, and that guy has a beam on him. So he got out of there. They end up running into somebody else. Good timing just on there. That guy could have ended up taking him out. So he's backing off. He's not even calming in this. Like I said, it's mostly his teammates. And sometimes these are bad teammates, sometimes because they're making a lot of noise. So that guy got killed there. And one thing I will point out is we're going to go back a little bit. You're going to hear the guy get knifed. He gets killed and then the throwing knife. So normally, like realistically, only sweaty players are using the throwing knife to thirst their kills. Usually an average to below average player is not running throwing knives. I've never seen an average to below average player running throwing knives and actually pulling them off effectively. So usually the top player will do it so they can down one, finish them off, and then they still have ammo to take on the next guy. As soon as he heard that, that gives you a clue. Hey, get ready for this gunfight. This guy is going to be a sweat, and automatically it carries over to the rest of the gunfight. So what we're going to see here is as this guy comes out, look at this guy bunny hop as he comes out. So he got the throwing knife. He spotted him. He comes out. He tries to camera the dude, and the guy's bunny hopping. He managed to take him out. He also has a throwing knife, but he needs to reload. Gets behind cover, kind of uses cover to the advantage. Still needs to reload. The guy's running across here. He jumps out, does like a hard angle. And a lot of top players will do that. They'll jump over aggressively. He's like, teammate, shut up. He's like, they're all telling him comms and stuff like that. So he's obviously going to go buy back his teammates. And that's kind of how that play works out. But if we look at it, it's all lined up based off audio cues. He takes out this guy, and then he uses movement to his advantage, right? He's kind of being active, head on a swivel. He doesn't overcommit to each side so he can get fully plated. He comes around, he thinks he could third party this. He kind of misses it just because of the angle of the rocks. And then he comes back through. Unfortunate prox mine. So obviously there's people camping here. He is self-res. So he's going to come up, and then the guy's pre-aiming this corner. So he ends up backing off of that. That's where he gets a little bit of luck involved. But as you can see, he goes and gets this part going. He goes and replates. Resets the gunfight. You can hear the guy behind him. He comes through. Ends up guy getting thirsted. And he's like, oh, shoot, there's another guy getting self-revived. He comes out, bunny hopping. And then when he runs into this guy, he goes around the corner. He only has one plate. He gets down, uses cover. He didn't really have a chance to reload. But as he comes out, you can see he jumps out and bunny hops. And that's why like movement is such a critical thing. Like for me personally, obviously I know movement's good, but more often than not, I just kind of get lazy with it because it's a lot of work to maintain that mobility 24/7. And obviously if you're trying to improve and get clutch plays, you want to be able to maximize all these various things. So whether it's movement, centering as he comes through, even from the beginning, you can see his centering is pretty solid, I believe, on this door. As he walks up, he comes through, and you can see kind of how he centers. He knows where that guy was on the right.
Hey, whoa, am I doing the thing?
But he's kind of centered on this door. He wasn't fully centered, but he was enough at the height. And the key is right before he actually snaps onto this guy, you can see his crosshairs kind of go over and they're in the general area of this door. It's not like they're at the ground. They're not super high. They're not so far to the left or the right. They're kind of on this door. And as soon as that guy comes in, he doesn't have to do much to react. It's just like a little tiny snap. Just get back on target, which isn't all that hard to do. As you aim down sight, you adjust your aim. Boom, you're on the center of the door. And that's why centering is so crucial, because that is what decides a lot of gunfights, win or lose. Obviously, we're going to be looking at multiple clips and we're going to be looking at various things. But as he comes through, let's go ahead and a little bit further. And as he takes this gunfight, obviously he backs off of that guy. There's two different teams here fighting, so there's a lot of stuff going on. But as he comes out, look at how his gun level is like crosshairs. He kind of peeking over there, and he comes out. He's like right on the guy. Obviously, aim assist is always a thing that helps out. It is what it is. He backs off. He jumps through the window. He comes out, and he knows the guy's on the right. He bunny hops and he gets in there. So that's clip one. I'm going to leave a link to this if you want to go ahead and check them out. It will be a link to this individual clip. So this is another clip from Kieran. And this one just shows understanding like the actual map and hop-up spots, how huge that can be for clutch moments like this. Obviously, the higher skilled players you're going to go against, it might not necessarily work as well, but more often than not, this will catch most people you're playing with off guard. So what he does, he's over here in that little section of like neighborhood, like in that general area where there's a buy station right here. You can see it. Obviously, it's grainy as hell because it's Twitter quality, but it is what it is. So we'll go ahead and come through. He hops up, and then he does like a weird hop up to this corner. Then you can hear the footsteps down below. His teammates, there might have been more to this clip where he knew multiple people were in here because his teammate just died. You can see how he lines it up, jumps in, hops in, ends up taking out one guy. He has no clue. Then ends up taking out the other guy that was a little bit more clueless. And then finally that guy gets involved and does the damage. But this all starts from this initial clip of knowing hop up. So outplaying opponents sometimes just knows, like catching people off guard, especially when you're in a 1v2 or 1v3 situation. It's about getting the first down, the second down. Hopefully you can reset the gunfight. I think in this particular scenario, he might have been better off getting the first guy, get the second guy, then jump out the window, and maybe his teammate comes up, throws a nade or something. It ended up working out because the guy took a little bit too long to work his shots in there. He also has a throwing knife that I don't think he used in here, but you can kind of see how he jumps up, angles himself, and then manages to jump in. This is more of an advanced jump in. You could probably try this 10 times. If you're trying it for the first time, you probably will not get it. But he comes through. The guy hears footsteps. He's like, what the hell? He got two there. He didn't use his throwing knife on the right here. And that could have he could have got the thirst. His teammate was coming up the stairs. So they end up pinching regardless. But that's just a very simple one. Ideally for a clip like this, we would like to see like 30 seconds before. To see kind of the lead up to this, because obviously they know there's people in there. Do they know there's three? Teammate just died. I don't know if the teammate died in the gulag. Let's look at this clip before. Yeah, the teammate died in the gulag. But did the teammate die to go to the gulag? That's something we don't know from this clip, and that's some of the things that we'll look for future clips if this is something you guys would like to see on the channel. So these next two are the hop-up spots and understanding the mobility of this specific building. Let's go ahead and check this out. So he spots the guy down the hall. And he's like, all right, cool. There's two of them. Got the heartbeat. Now look at this outplay. A lot of it's about resetting a gunfight where you can maybe take an unsuspected path. I think in a lot of scenarios, most people would just run away from this gunfight. But this guy, he ends up taking an insane play where he jumps out, comes through. This guy has no clue. He's like, what? Pre-aiming, slow reaction. Ends up taking them both out. And we'll look at this one more time just because it's such a nasty jump spot, right? And this is where like to know those advanced movements in the game. Maybe there's like, you know, you only get so many opportunities to use something like this. Know it and not need it is better than to need it and not know it, right? Like that's just kind of the basics of how it works. So he jumps out, comes in, boom, comes in. The guy has no clue that that's even a hop-up spot. Obviously, those might have been lower skilled players, whatever. It is a good showing of what proper understanding of different hop-up and movement spots R. So this one is a little bit interesting. It does have a similar effect, but the guy is the one mounting on the wall. The other guy could have jumped through. He comes out. He ends up jumping up here. There's another hop up spot here. There are a couple things that we'll go ahead and break down on this where it could have been a little bit better, but at the end of the day, it worked out. So, you know, not a really bad deal. Comes through, takes both of them out, takes a lot of damage there, ended up like a sliver of health. So here's a couple different things that, in my opinion, could have been a little bit different. Jumping out, cool. Getting a little bit more urgency while you have that dead silence, because they cannot hear you while you have that dead silence. So maximize, right? This is a solid clip, very impressive. I don't know what their secondary was. They never swapped, so I don't know if they're running a sniper or something with this. But the secondary probably was a better option unless you just didn't have a good one. Like an MP5, MAC-10, something would have been really good. He comes around and he pre-fires this because you can still hear the footsteps. Comes around, and the other part on top of this is, even though this is a good clip that plays out, there is a little bit of a sense of what you would call target prioritization. Normally, if you have two enemies, one's looking away from you and one's looking at you, you normally prioritize the one that can shoot you, because this guy can't shoot you with his back unless he has some kind of hacks on, right? Because that is a thing. But in this particular case, he came around pre-firing and just held the trigger down. So it paid off. But if he came around, jumped out the corner, he could have taken out the guy in the bathroom quickly. And this guy, while he's reacting, you shoot him in the back, you take almost no damage. And that's just a little bit different how you could play that situation. Even though it worked out, you could always improve upon certain scenarios like we're seeing here. So great play. Again, I'll leave links to these clips so you can go to check them out if you want to go and show support to those individuals. Next one up is a little bit more of a finesse play, but it breaks down with the logic of having that mini-map information of the super UAV in the air or the advanced. I don't know which it was, but you can kind of see how they run up, they make the play. And what we're going to do is break this down. We'll watch it through and then we'll go ahead and break it down. So he comes up, you can see that there's at least one, maybe two guys on the left. And those are the guys that have a line of sight to his cross. The other guys inside, they can't see where he's at, but there's two on the left. He peeks, gets that guy in the back. Boom, solid. And now he knows the cross is fairly safe. He comes through, pops another UAV as last. So it's a super UAV. He jumps over, happens to catch this guy in transition. He closes the gap here to this cover on the right, constantly staying in this cover. He ends up taking that guy out with a throwing knife. He's using the cover and snaking, which if you guys don't know how broken snaking is, you got to give it a try. Drop shots. Still pretty much ego chows this guy. Probably could have tried to play it up and like finesse a little bit, but he didn't. So here's how it all. Obviously, I broke it down kind of a little bit in real time because I already know what's happening. But what happens is the down he gets right here does cause, he end up getting lucky on this UAV here. He could have probably even grabbed the sentry, placed it down there, shot the guy, then placed the sentry, and then it would have probably finished the guy off while he could have came around here. That those guys would have been distracted, it would have been a noise cover or whatever. So he comes through, takes this guy out, pretty straightforward kill. And then he throwing knives him, and he has a situation here where he doesn't really have anything for this middle range. He has an MP5, and then he has a sniper rifle. So obviously, a sniper rifle, you need to hit the shots. If you don't hit them, that's a loss. You still got to hit those regardless, right? That's the clutch part of it. But we come over here, and he ends up just flick shooting one. He's on a controller. He comes up. He has to shoot the guy, same guy, because if he hits the other guy in the chest again, neither of them are down. At least if he hits the same guy, more than likely that guy will go down. So he chose his target prioritization of shooting the same guy twice, since he wasn't going to get the headshots. Then he notices where this one is. He does like a snaking thing where what happens is on the enemy screen, they don't actually see your head every time. They might see it like this, but you see full image, full image, full image. That's what's happening on your end. On their end, it's like, so they're going to try and shoot. They'll miss, but that allows him to line up this next shot. So that's where movement comes into play. And he's using the cover to his advantage. He swaps the MP5 because he's obviously not landing the shots. He has 42 bullets there. takes this guy on easy, drop shots to change levels. And then you can see he takes a lot of damage there, right? So he took that out. And now he knows there's still another guy from this area, plus the guy he has downed. So he's peeking. This is the rose skin he downed earlier, who was able to get revived or self-revived. And is able to come back, I believe. He bunny hops or jumps into it. He managed to land that. You can see he snakes down. And by doing that, he cameras the dude. And the guy does not actually see him stand out. It's just broken mechanics within the game engine. And COD engines have always been that way because of how fast the movement is. Most other games of first-person shooters, the movement is pretty slow. So it accounts for that. And there's still a lot of that happens. But with the fast movement, him going like this, a little shoulder check, he sees the guy. And likely the guy does not see him. He comes out, he hip fires a couple. So he keeps the mobility while he aims down sight. And then he ends up finishing the guy off with the jump to finish it off there. Because the guy is basically, he already knows he's one shot as he takes this gunfight. You'll go ahead and replay it again. So he hit him once, boom. And then he just jumps through it all in one motion. Very, very phenomenal play. But there's a lot of things that are going right there for Jared to pull off this specific play. It's the awareness. Once he gets the snipe, how to reposition himself to set him up for the gunfights. He ends up taking out one guy, going to the buy, so easy kill. He thirsts him so he doesn't have to worry about in the back of the mind, is this guy rezzing? Is this guy going to ping me? Sometimes you need to eliminate those people so that they do not give their teammates too much information. Then he uses a positioning of snaking to go ahead and catch the people off guard. He gets 2 good snipes without really taking any damage. Look at how much damage he takes once he snipes these dudes over the wall here. Look at his armor as he snakes and gets these shots off. So he took 1 plate of damage there, and he took a nade damage. I believe that was nade damage right there. I think they threw a nade. Or is that a thermite? Or what the hell was that? It exploded on the edge there. Either way, something went off there that did him another plate of damage. But his movement, he wasn't getting shot, right? He deflected some of that. It wasn't making himself an easy target. Comes through, this guy's bunny hopping in. He ends up swapping, uses the movement, takes the guy out, thirsts him. So he also can't get taken care of. And then he takes that guy out. So a combination of effects where you have to put yourself in those positions. Obviously, Jared could be put in this position maybe 10 times. And he's going to like choke some of these like most people do. It's not everyone's perfect. But when everything comes together and you utilize all those things, it's better to have those skills and not need them than to need them and not have them. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this first installment of this particular series. If you'd like to see more of these, do me a favor, hit the like button, comment down below other ways you'd like to see this improved upon. And that's pretty much it. If you enjoy it, want to find your way back, subscribe with notifications on. I do appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.